You've described how over the course of the last couple of years we've seen, some very real momentum in the multifamily sector. In some cases, we've had rents growing faster than incomes have been growing, and you've described how that's a problem. One of the main drivers of those trends has been demand from millennials. How are millennials different, in your view, from previous generations of renters?
It's fascinating because clearly millennials have moved to urban areas. They like the gateway cities, whether it be New York, San Francisco, Washington, D.C., and Boston. They like living in the city. But the other factor is what we've seen after the Great Recession are people are getting married later. So the household formation is coming later. And people are renting. And not only are people renting, they're actually teaming up. They want to be in these urban areas, and they don't mind smaller living areas. They just want to be urban. And that's been going on for quite some time.
Now, at the same time as you're seeing relatively smaller apartments, is it also the case that we're seeing a much richer set of amenities in some of the medium and high-rise buildings?
I think you're not just seeing amenities in those buildings, but people are viewing living in the urban areas as an amenity itself.
Well, as the millennials age, is there any potential risk? Is there a challenge in that their preferences might change at some point in the household's life cycle? Urban living, may not be the most appropriate choice. They will start looking to the suburbs.
Well, I'm a big believer that nothing stays the same. And I do believe that if household formation came later, when people have children, there could be a trend to move out of the urban areas and back into the suburban areas, which are better for families, to raise families and send them to school. So home ownership is clearly at a low percentage, and that's a factor we're concerned about. Will that change? Will there be a transition? And we're really keen on watching those trends.
Right. Now, at the other end of the demographic spectrum, to what extent are you seeing baby boomers, empty nesters that are, saying we also want, access to all of those urban amenities? How significant a source of demand are they?
Well, that's been coming for the last 20 years. I think you see a lot of empty nesters either moving out of state into warmer climates with year-round amenities, or getting apartments in urban areas but selling their homes. And that's factored into the lower ownership rate too. And many of those people are not just renters. A lot of those people actually buy their homes. So it's in transition from home to home.
Right. Now, when you talk about the lower home ownership rate, as one of the challenges in analyzing the data is assessing to what extent we have renters by necessity and otherwise renters by choice. How challenging is it to get a mortgage today, and how much of a driver is that of the lower home ownership rate and the higher rentership rate?
Well, Sam, as you know, I have an enormous background in residential lending. That's where I began my career, and I still have a lot of expertise in that area. And I believe that initially post-recession, it was very difficult to get a loan. Today, it's much easier, and the affordability index is at one of its best levels ever. So between the affordability of the home, interest rates, and the agencies being a little bit more liberal in providing loans, I think people can get home loans and can buy homes. So if the millennials do get married and want to buy homes, I think the path is paved.